Most people think the average American is doing pretty well financially. After all, we live in one of the richest countries in the world, surrounded by technology, luxury brands, and constant advertising that makes wealth seem normal. But the real numbers tell a much more surprising story, and it's not what most people expect. Let's start with the definition. Net worth is not your salary. It's not how much you make per month or how big your house looks. Your net worth is the total value of everything you own, cash, savings, investments, property, minus everything you owe, including credit cards, student loans, mortgages, and car loans. In other words, it's what you've left if you sold everything and paid off all your debts today. So what is the average net worth for Americans? According to recent financial data, the average net worth of a U.S. household is around $1 million. That sounds incredible, almost unbelievable. But here's the catch. This number is heavily skewed by the ultra-wealthy. Billionaires and multimillionaires at the top drastically inflate the average, making it look like the typical American is far richer than they actually are. To get a clearer picture, we need to look at the median net worth, which shows the middle point, where half of Americans have more and half have less. And this is where reality hits hard. The median net worth of the average American household is closer to $190,000. That means most Americans are far from being millionaires. In fact, many are living paycheck to paycheck, with very little in savings and heavy debt. A large portion of this net worth is often tied up in home equity, not cash or investments that can be easily accessed. Now let's break it down by age, because net worth changes dramatically over a lifetime. Under 35 years old, the median net worth is roughly $40,000. Many young adults are burdened with student loans, credit card debt, and rising housing costs. Even those with good jobs often struggle to build wealth early because expenses grow faster than income. Ages 35 to 44. Median net worth rises to about $135,000. People start advancing in their careers, buying homes, and investing more. But family expenses, kids, childcare, healthcare, also increase, slowing wealth accumulation. Ages 45 to 54. Median net worth reaches around $250,000. This is often the peak earning stage of life, and many people finally feel financially stable, yet still far from financial freedom. Ages 55 to 64. Median net worth climbs to about $365,000. Retirement becomes a serious focus, but many Americans realize they are behind and may not have enough to retire comfortably. 65 and older. Median net worth falls slightly to around $350,000 as people begin withdrawing savings and spending down assets in retirement. Now here's where things get shocking. Despite decades of working, the majority of Americans will never reach a net worth of $1 million. Not even close. In fact, only about 8 to 10% of U.S. households are millionaires. That means over 90% of Americans will never become one, despite working for 40-plus years. Even more alarming, nearly 40% of Americans have less than $10,000 in savings. Around 25% have no retirement savings at all. Over 60% live paycheck to paycheck, even among those earning six figures. So why does wealth feel so out of reach for most people? The answer lies in a mix of rising costs, stagnant wages, lifestyle inflation, debt culture, and lack of financial education. Let's start with debt. Americans carry trillions of dollars in debt, student loans, credit cards, auto loans, and mortgages. While debt can sometimes be useful, most people use it to fund lifestyles they can't afford. Monthly payments eat away at income, leaving little room for saving or investing. Next is lifestyle inflation. As people earn more, they spend more. Bigger houses, nicer cars, vacations, subscriptions, dining out. Expenses quietly rise with income, keeping people stuck on the same financial treadmill, regardless of how much they make. Then there's the issue of wages versus inflation. While productivity has soared over the past few decades, wages for the average worker have barely kept up with inflation. Meanwhile, housing, healthcare, education, and childcare costs have exploded. This makes building wealth far more difficult than it was for previous generations. Another major factor is lack of investing. Many Americans rely only on savings accounts, which barely keep up with inflation, instead of investing in assets that grow, like stocks, real estate, or businesses. Without compound growth, wealth accumulation becomes painfully slow. Now, let's flip the script, because while the average numbers are sobering, they also reveal something powerful. If the median net worth is around $190,000, that means you don't need to be extraordinary to be above average. You don't need a massive salary, a viral business, or a lucky break. You simply need a better strategy than most people. Here's what consistently separates those who build wealth from those who don't. 1. They live below their means. Not just temporarily, permanently. They avoid lifestyle inflation and keep expenses low even as income rises. 2. They invest early and consistently. They don't wait until they're rich to invest. They invest to become rich, letting compound interest do the heavy lifting over time. 3. They avoid bad debt. They use debt strategically, if at all, and eliminate high-interest debt aggressively. 4. They increase income, not just cut costs. They develop valuable skills, start side businesses, negotiate salaries, and create multiple income streams. 5. They think long-term. They sacrifice short-term pleasure for long-term freedom, something most people are unwilling to do. Let's put this into perspective. If you invest just $500 per month at an average 10% annual return, over 30 years, you'll have over $1.1 million without ever earning a massive salary. Most people spend more than that on car payments, subscriptions, and lifestyle upgrades they don't even remember a year later. The truth is, wealth is not about luck. It's not about being born rich. And it's not about working harder than everyone else. It's about making better financial decisions consistently over a long period of time. And here's the most important part. The average net worth isn't your destiny. It's just a statistic. Your future net worth depends on what you do today. Not your background, not your past mistakes, and not your current income. If you start saving, investing, and building assets now, your financial story can look very different 10, 20, or 30 years from now. So while the numbers may be shocking, they also reveal an opportunity. Most people won't build real wealth, which means if you do, you immediately stand out. You immediately rise above average. And you create something far more valuable than money. Freedom. Freedom from stress. Freedom from debt. Freedom from working forever. Freedom to live life on your terms. And that, more than any number, is the real definition of wealth. If this video gave you clarity, hit the like button and subscribe for more calm, real-world money guidance. Remember, wealth isn't about being ahead of others. It's about building a future you can trust. See you in the next video.